Hey guys, what's up, what's good? Welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to be talking about single strand knots. They can also be called fairy knots. I believe Americans are the one that came up with that name because Americans just don't like to pronounce what other people pronounce. It's also known as fairy knots because they're they can be very tiny. Anyway, what are single strand knots? I think if you're natural, you are most definitely 101% have experienced single strand knots through your hair before. And whether that's once, whether that's multiple times, which is probably more likely, you would have experienced it at some point. And it's very annoying because it makes your hair more prone to breakage. Because they are so small, it's very difficult for you to untangle them. So usually you kind of just rip them out, which kind of also rips your hair out, and that's one of the reasons why you may not be able to retain length. Like, it's part of our journey, you know. Some things that we try to take away, it's just part of our journey. We just have to embrace it. However, sometimes it can be annoying, so you can't completely avoid single strand knots, but you can reduce the chances of getting them if you follow these tips. So firstly, the way curly hair grows out, or our hair, is because the follicles, our hair follicles, are more oval shaped. So therefore our hair kind of grows out ovally shaped, which means that there's a higher tendency for the hairs to kind of, you know, go all of like this. It's kind of winding in into itself to make that knot, which is why it's so tiny and it's quite difficult for you to untangle it. I don't even think anybody will try and untangle it. You're just wasting your time, really. One of the major things I would say causes single strand knots, aside from the fact that it's always going to be there because of the way your hair follicles are shaped, is the fact that your hair is dry. Yeah, not just your hair but your ends, because most of the knots tend to be at the end of the hair, but it's mostly because it's dry. So moisture is very, very important. That's why most people recommend deep conditioning at least once a month or once every 2 weeks. I don't really do it once every 2 weeks. That's probably why I have so many knots, but once a month at least, just so especially if your hair is out, because your hair is going to be so dry and at the end it's just going to be all matted up and all those knots are going to be forming, and when you're trying to detangle, it's going to be such a struggle. That's the oldest part of your hair, so it's not getting as much nutrients as the top part of your head. So you want to make sure that every time that you're showing your hair love, you're always focusing on your ends as well as your, yeah, you get me. And this would ensure that this part is as moisturized as it needs to be, and preventable breakage is not happening. Another thing I found that can cause single strand knots, again, is when you leave your hair out for too long or when it's not protected. So usually when I put my hair in an afro, if I just leave my hair out, I do find that it's more prone to having single strand knots, because when you go outside, the wind, the air, everything is there to just, you know, shift your hair. You know, the weather can be very harsh on our hair sometimes, so you always want to make sure that your ends are protected. I mean, it's already trying to, you know, hug on itself because of the way the follicles are shaped, but now you're leaving it to just be, and then the weather now encourages it to now do more of, you know, do more of intertwining. So yes, for me, I believe those are the two main factors that would promote single strand knots: dry hair, so lack of moisture, and lack of protective style. To be honest, it's very easy for you to pull it out and let it go. However, you won't retain length. Blah. You won't retain length. But like I said, it's really not 100% avoidable because it's just part of our hair journey. It's like someone saying, how do I prevent shrinkage? Shrinkage is your hair. Your hair is shrinkage. There's no need for you to prevent shrinkage. You just have to deal with it and make sure that you're doing the things that are not promoting more single strand knots. So what are the things that you should do and you shouldn't do? Like I said, what you shouldn't do is to leave your hair dry, is to leave your hair matted. So the things that help to manage single strand knots, like I said, moisturizing, moisture, everything moisture. Our body loves moisture, our skin loves moisture, our hair loves moisture. So just bring on the moisture. Another one is stretching your hair. And stretch mode doesn't necessarily have to be using heat. It could just be twists or braids, because what it does is it just keeps your hair compact and just prevents them from, you know, playing together. Wash your hair in sections. So our hair, or at least my hair can be, is a lot. It's a lot in the shower. And usually if you, I don't know if you've ever tried it, I used to wash my hair as one before, and it's just long, and you're probably not doing it properly because you're not reaching places that you could possibly be reaching. So washing your hair in sections just allows it to be more manageable. Just put it in 4 or put it in 2 if you want, and it makes it more manageable, and it allows you to just handle each section with care. And then again, all your hair isn't mixing up, so single strand knots shouldn't be forming. However, it can. Why people say wear silk scarf or silk bonnet is because when you sleep on non-silk materials, your hair is more likely, the tension is a lot more intense, so your hair is kind of rubbing off on all this fabric, and there's more chance that, you know, it's going to intertwine and form a knot. That's why it is important that you sleep on, you know, silk, and it feels good, even if it's a bonnet, even if it's a silk scarf. So yes, I hope these tips will help you in managing your single strand knots if it's something that you get more often than you should. And if you don't get them at all, please leave in the comments below what you do to your hair that, you know, prevents it from getting into single strand knots. And this is mostly for curly hair, obviously, because like I said, the way our follicles is shaped, it just makes it more likely. People with straight hair wouldn't really have this problem, just because their hair follicles kind of grows out straight and they mind their business and the strand is in their lane. However, curly hair, on the other hand, they just like to be friends. It just goes in, goes out, goes in, goes out, and then you have this really tiny knot that you can't really untangle. So yeah, that's single strand knots today, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I really hope to see you in my next video. Thank you so much. Bye guys.